Probotector. What the hell is that? Contra. Okay, now you're speaking my language. Wait. This game's hard. Today on... It's not the same without a rise from Jake.
How does he hate that? That's it's wonderful. I don't understand how you could hate that so much.
Thank you. How's it going, GP? That's GP from the Retro Therapy, of course.
Hi, everybody. I am doing well. How are you, sir?
I am Palsh 109. I am well as well.
Double well.
Today on Press B to Cancel, on a very special episode, we're going to talk about a little bit of Contra, which happens to be one of my friend's favorite games of all effing time. Right, GP?
Yeah. You were talking about me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put this solidly in my top 10 video games of all time, yeah.
Would you go top 5?
Probably not. It's probably somewhere between 6 and 10.
All right, so we're going to talk about Final Fantasy IV some more. So, Kane, okay. I don't know, man. I think of Contra and I think of you, so I had to do this. I had to ask you to get in on this. Why?
Why is it one of my favorites?
Yeah, I've never been able to beat it, so I figured I'd ask a guy that actually knows how to beat it.
I beat it daily. Contra. No, yeah, it's a great game.
We're not talking about Tetris right now.
Oh, shit. Nice. Good callback. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know what's going on, check out our Game of the Year episode 2020.
Boom.
But no, this is a game that part of me thinks it's just because of nostalgia. The story that I've said on my channel several times is that if you ever watch the family home videos from my childhood and we're playing inside, you're going to hear either Contra or Kung Fu. I think this game is a lot better than Kung Fu, but those were the only two games we had, so 50-50, I suppose. But no, so there's a strong nostalgia factor for me. But that said, it's just very well beloved by a lot of people. I think it's a really great port of a great arcade game, and it's one of those gems that's kind of early on. Well, I say that, I think it came out in 88 or 89. There's some differences of opinions with that. But no, it's great. Graphics are just fine. The playability is wonderful. There's New Game Plus, kind of, and the soundtrack is dope as shit. So, just across the board.
I had to Google it because I had to check my Mind Palace because I didn't recall it being an arcade game until you said it, and I was like, yeah, I remember. No, not quite. But yeah, okay. Now I'm seeing it.
I kind of forget that it was also because my first exposure to it was the NES. And I'm sorry if you hear any clicking in the background. From the moment we started talking, I started playing Contra, and I'm going to see how many times I can beat the game whilst we're podcasting. So that should be fun.
Have you died yet?
No, not yet. Of course not. Also of note, I am not using the Konami code, but that's really just more of a flex. It's me being a dick. But no, I kind of forget it's an arcade game as well. The one thing that reminds me of that it is my brother and I had tried downloading it when we had seen it on the Xbox, download store, whatever that was, back in like 2007. And we got excited because we just both loved Contra. And I was visiting him in Florida, not that the story needs context, but he didn't have it. He had an Xbox, so we found it on their store. We downloaded it, and it wasn't the NES version. It was the arcade version, which at first we were a little let down, and then we started playing it, and I'm like, God, this is so great. So, I don't know. The arcade version, I love. The at-home version, the console version is the tits, and it's just great.
I'm just wondering if there's like an Amiga version or something all of a sudden, because I was watching Jake play Ninja Turtles, and he was playing the Amiga version just before we did the episode on that, and Now I'm just like, what are these classics that I grew up with? Like, what of all of them, what are on Amiga? And now I'm like, oh crap.
He blew my mind the other week. Well, I guess it was last year when we were. 2020 has been weird when we were talking about the Atari Double Dragon, because I just part of me thinks the very first gaming console was the NES, which obviously is not the case. It was just the first one I was ever exposed to.
That's the same thing for me. Like I'm aware of the Atari, but for me, it's basically been the first one is NES, because that's just what I was experienced.
Mm-hmm.
What I had experienced.
Oh my goodness, that was wonderful.
Thank you. I'm trying to cover it up as opposed to just repeating it and editing it out. I'm gonna leave this all in.
I think you should.
Deep cuts.
Yeah, press B to cancel. We don't need editing.
But we do.
Actually, I can get by with saying that because I don't do anything for the channel other than just show up on Fridays. You guys are the reason it works. All the editing and all that stuff, and I yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, you can edit that out. I still always feel guilty that I don't pull my weight.
No, I'm just going to keep that in there because any compliment to me or the rest of us at the same time from you.
Okay.
It's not saying that it never comes. It's
from
just
me? I'm like, yeah, do I not dole out the feel goods enough?
Yeah, apparently not. I had to throw the from me in there, and I'm like, what? Anyways. Yeah, so what are we...
We're talking about Contra.
Contra. I want to talk about sex.
What's your experience with Contra? I know you said you've never beaten it, but like, at what point did you ever really try playing it, or have you ever done the arcade? I guess not.
I played the arcade once. I remember because I was like, because if there was an arcade version of an NES game, is what I always looked at it as. It's like it had to come for an NES first. That's what I used to think as a kid.
Right.
If there was an arcade like Double Dragon, if I saw that in an arcade, zoom. It's like, Dad, I need 25 cents.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I remember playing this once. I don't even remember where. I just remember it being like, this is Contra on steroids. If I was playing it as an adult, that's probably what I would have thought.
Right.
Because, it's just the graphics. But you immediately look at it and you're like, that's Contra. Okay, cool. Right on. I played it a lot as a kid, but because it was so hard. I think the only time I think the furthest I got is the level with, is it 4 or 5 with the ice level with the grenades and stuff coming out of the woods?
Yeah, that's the snow field. That is stage 5.
Stage 5. So I made it to stage 5 once with the Konami code, and I'm pretty sure that I was cheating and using save states on an emulator. So, yeah, that doesn't count.
I think it does.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I've never gotten very far. To be honest, I spent more time trying to learn the song for the first level on guitar than I've probably ever spent playing Contra altogether.
Oh, yeah. I remember you sent me that last year or the year before, that Marco Polo. That was wonderful. That was a special day for me.
I was starting to get good at it now. I got to bring it back up again because it's going to be in my head all night now after talking about this. So, yeah, this is a good time to get practice in.
We should put that as the opener. Just like beatbox the opening. And then we'll give the episode to Jake to edit because, he loves all the mouth noises.
Yeah, he doesn't trust my mouth noises, so I don't trust him. I'm listening to you, Jake. I'm talking to you, Jake.
Calling you out, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, though. You had a really interesting point about whenever you see an NES game that you're familiar with on an arcade cabinet, you just automatically think like, well, clearly they upgraded the game, and this is like the ultimate version for the arcade, and never.
Yeah, and then you play Rygar.
Oh yeah, Rygar.
Rygar, man. Oh, that changed my whole mythos. I don't know. My whole idea on arcade games. I was like, yeah, the arcade game is like the end all be all. Nah.
Yeah, I'm with you, but yeah, okay. I'm sorry. We're having a hard time staying on Contra, which is silly because it's fucking Contra. It's great. It's iconic. What you said is exactly right. You can look at it. You know exactly what franchise it is. It's not the most in-depth game. I'm not sure that any of the stories really ever dive too much into the, I guess, lore. From what I understand from the ending, there's a bad guy that you're taking down in this game called the Red Falcon, or the Vile Red Falcon, and that's pretty much all I know. I think they're aliens, but I just play the game. I don't know that I really ever pay attention to it. Does that make sense?
Oh no, that's fine. Like, it's very much a product of its time. You got 80s action flicks, and this is like the equivalent of an 80s action flick. You have muscle-bound dudes, to the point where the box art is just like a doctored shot of Schwarzenegger and Stallone.
Yeah.
From Commando and Rambo, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically just make them look like the characters. Well, the characters is, at some point, I think it was like Hammer and Sickle or something, or is that some of the enemies in another game? Or I can't remember.
I at one point I knew them as Mad Dog and Scorpion.
There you go. Okay.
And then I think later on they were called like Lance Bean or Sean Bean and somebody else.
Lance Bean and Bill Reiser, wasn't it?
Bill Reiser, yeah, or the guy from Mad About You. Which, to me, they need to redo. They need to redo the Contra box art with Sean Bean and Bill Reiser from Mad About You.
Oh man,
that'd be such a good
we know
name.
what we're gonna have for the thumbnail for this episode. You're welcome,
yeah,
Werewolf.
I'll concede to that. I was kind of hoping it would be you and me on the box art, but that's even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you could fit our likenesses on two jacked action stars, that's hilarious. Anyways, but no, this has more timeless appeal to the masses. Even Zimbabwe will get it.
Oh, Zimbabwe, we do love you.
So yeah, like, if you had to sell somebody on this game, tell me what you would say. Like, say somebody who's coming to old, retro style games and stuff like that, and they're like, I never played Contra, never heard of it, and you want to try to sell them on it. What are you going to tell them?
Have you ever played those awesome Ninja Turtle sequels where you run around and beat people up? And then did you ever get tired of just beating people up and you wish you had a gun? This is that. It's the quintessential run and gun. Left to right, upgradable guns, though you really only need the one.
Yeah.
Just killer music. Like, that's the Contra experience. If you want to know the story, I'm sure you can look it up. But, yeah. I guess if I had to distill it down to just two words, it would be spread gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else that makes you want to play the game? SG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. I like that. The fact that I can hear you playing. What level are you on?
I'm in the jungle again. I already beat it once.
He's not lying. I've seen him speedrun this thing. So what's your best for this again?
Okay, well, let me preface by saying I don't know that it's really a speed run. I just timed it. I'm ranked like 80 something, but it's just under 11 minutes, like 10:59.
It's one of those games where it counts, all right? The fact that you've beaten it. But it's one of those things where it's like, people don't know it. It's like, oh, I can beat it. I gotta use the Konami code. It's either you haven't beaten it, you've beaten it with the Konami code, or you speedrun it. There's no other way.
You're right. Like, it's not necessarily a great casual game to play. If you're new to it, yeah, it's a struggle. Or if you haven't beaten it before, you're still figuring it out. And the game is very addictive that way because it has almost this appeal of simplicity to it. It's not as trolly as like Ninja Gaiden or Castlevania. There's no real like knockback because it's just one hit kills. If you get hit, you're dead. So it seems like it would be pretty cut and paste. But no, it is a challenge. But once you get through the challenge, yeah, it's hard to just be like, oh, I think I'll fire that up and play it real quick. It has to be, I'm going to spend 4 hours hitting reset, trying to see if I can just get it perfect.
Yeah, I can believe it. So, like, I've never beaten it. I cheated with the Konami code and save states and going through it and still never beat it. But I can see it. Like, I know, it's like, okay, I know what level's coming up next, even though I can't say which level is this. I've got like I have more experience with the third one, Super Nintendo, the Alien Wars.
Oh, so good.
It's a good game, and I find it like maybe it's just the fact that I've played it so much that I find it easy compared to the other ones. But yeah, I don't know. It's just strange because it's kind of like that for the real one too, like the real deal, the Contra, the Nintendo Contra.
The OG.
Because it's just like the OG because you're just like okay.
Well, let's actually examine it real quick now that I'm starting to kind of shift my mind into like, let's talk about why it's so great. Because really all I can do is, it's almost like its own emotion. I don't know how to explain what love is. I just know what love is. You know, same thing. I don't know how to explain Contra. I just know what Contra is. But no, okay, so we've mentioned the Konami code a number of times. I do want to say, I don't believe this is anywhere near the first game to have the Konami code, but I do think this is probably the most famous one.
Yeah.
To utilize it, the up, down, down, left, right, BA start.
Slow that down for us plebs again. I need to write that down.
No, just play it at 50% speed. That's what we do. The up, down, down, left, right, button B, button A, select start. And that'll, if you enter it in correctly, you'll start the game with 30 lives instead of, I think it's 2 or 3. Yeah, it's famous for that. Now, I did mention it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up or shmup, and most of the levels are that way. But levels 2 and 4 are actually this really weird, like, camera behind your character as you head deeper, like, into the screen. If that makes sense, you're moving forward, and it was kind of, I guess, groundbreaking. I don't really know that, but I assume so because it looks so bad. You know what I mean? Like, typically the first version of something sucks. It's the Virtua Boy of three-dimensional Contra shit. And anyway, it's a very interesting, idea, and they've replicated it with, like, Contra 4 and a few other things. But other than that, it's kind of your standard left to right. Although now that I'm playing the third level, it's basically just one giant waterfall mountain that you're trying to ascend. So a lot of jumping. I don't know. It really isn't a side-scroller.
What you said there about having... They did that kind of in the Super Nintendo one too, and I'm just like, yeah, in the Super Nintendo one you have the top-down mode 7 kind of thing, and that also looks like shit, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, I don't know, those levels were tricky. I think I'd always get stuck. If the second level, I get to the third one maybe, but yeah, the second level was always the pinch point for me. I'd just get stuck and. I'm like, okay, because you can duck under I want to say projectiles, the bullets. But I'd never think of that. And so I'd always be trying to run left and right. And I'm like, no, this doesn't matter. So, like, do I get this correctly? If you're just stay down on your belly the whole time is basically invincibility.
Kind of, except for there are targets that you're trying to blow up in the second and the fourth level that require you to either jump or be standing. Of course, some of them are on the ground, so you can do it that way. But yeah, you're not going to get too far if you only do that. But I suppose it is a safety strat. Yeah.
I was going to say I still manage to get killed all the time, so that can't be right.
Well, yeah, there's guys throwing grenades that will arc at you and land on you or next to you. But I mean, there's a lot more bullets than there are grenades.
This is true.
Now, I will also say this. This is just kind of a quick aside for anybody who plays retro achievements. You have to try it for Contra. There's this wonderful balance. Like, to me, this is the most balanced set of Chivos that I've 200%ed between, only using certain guns or beating the game, deathless, all that kind of stuff. There's this interesting balance of difficult and fun easy, not just like stupid easy for the ability to say, oh, I did this. But even the easy ones are fun. The difficult ones are a son of a bitch. If I remember right, there was one that was... beat the entire game without pressing down, without ducking.
Oh, wow.
And we got it, but I had to pretty much like unprogram my controller to disable the down button, like just because and part of that is just I played this game so much I know exactly where I need to duck and when, so it's more just breaking. I don't even want to say bad habits. Ducking in a video game is not a bad habit; it's a necessity. But yeah, if you've ever tried Chivos, or if you think you might want to. Contra is a great game to try it with.
That's cool. I was going to suggest Final Fantasy Mystic Quest because I'm pretty sure the only thing you have to do is actually just beat the game. But
The one Shivo nobody's been able to unlock with Mystic Quest is make this game relevant again. I'm sorry, I don't want to hate on it. It is a fun game and it's very charming.
I just get a kick out of it because as soon as you said that, I just pictured the sprite just looking at the game, looking at the camera and shrugging. Because he does. That was like the only emote he had besides like the angry or like shock kind of face. It was just a shrug.
Okay, so you said you've also played the Alien Wars. Do we want to address like the games in the series, or do we just want to briefly talk about those at all?
I want to talk about the original because I mean, there's Super C. What's the other one on Nintendo? There's 3 on Nintendo, aren't
Yeah, I think it's called Contra Hardcore.
Oh no, that's Genesis.
Is that Genesis? Okay. Well, I feel bad now because I don't actually know. I've only ever played Contra, Super C, and then Alien Wars. And there was one for the DS that's actually called Contra 4, which is kind of like a cooler or more updated version of Contra with like the graphics of the Alien Wars, but a couple of different types of levels. I don't know. It's this interesting mix of like the original 3. And then you can unlock the first 2, Contra and Super C, if you do certain things in the main game. But it's actually really cool for a DS game. If you have a DS and a few extra bucks, try to find Contra 4. Is what I'm saying.
You know what? The only thing that bothers me about Super C is that they waited.
Yeah.
They should have waited until Super Nintendo came out to make it.
Right. Having to explain why it's Super anything but not on the Super Nintendo.
Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
Ghouls and Ghosts.
it's messy, but I guess it must have come out at a time before they knew that that's the direction they were going with the Super Nintendo. I don't know. But they did the same thing with Mario, right? Because everything was always Super Mario anyways.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Well, but honestly, yeah.
Oh, man. Great. You got a good point.
I think the last time anybody in pop culture has actually said Super Mario is Louis Tuttle, a.k.a. Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters 2. When he's trying to bang Janine Melnitz, and he's like, you want to play Super Mario Brothers? I think that's the last time anybody ever said Super Mario Brothers. After that, it was just Mario Brothers.
Did he say Mario or Mario?
He did, because he's wildly Canadian.
Okay, cool. I say Mario when I'm talking to you, basically, and that's it. I'm very, very easily swayed. If I was talking with Jake, I guarantee you it was Mario.
And I respect the hell out of that. And I out of deference to you guys, I try to do the same thing whenever we're discussing measurements. I usually go to kilometers or gallons of maple syrup.
Yeah, exactly.
Or liters of maple syrup. See, I messed it up already.
It's easy to get those confused. That's why we have like the conversion charts in every cookbook and stuff like that. Then again, if you're cooking with gallons of maple syrup, you've already made it. So like that's not cheap.
Yeah, do you even maple syrup, bro?
Yeah. Apparently not. But I mean, Werewolf is the most Canadian out of all of us here, and he's not even Canadian, so.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways.
See,
that one was on purpose. I said that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you were going to say Contra NES versus... Okay, I'm going to pretend there's an Amiga one just for fun. If there is. I'm not even going to check my Mind Palace, but NES versus arcade. What are we doing?
I still have to stick with the NES. Part of it almost feels like a loyalty due to nostalgia's sake. But, I think the last time I played the arcade version was, like I said, 07 or 08. And it was fun, but I love what I love.
Yeah.
Now, graphically, obviously, the one for the arcade is better. It has animated backgrounds, which the NES does not have. Yeah. The trees sway in the distance and stuff like that. But really, that's... Yeah, graphics are never going to get better than this. Could you imagine if they could bring arcade quality graphics home? Oh my god. But anyway, no, I got to stick with that. And I know we're not talking about the other entries into the series, but I do want to mention for anybody who's played Super C, I mentioned this a couple weeks ago when I was doing my 20 games in under 12 hours run. The final boss fight in Super C looks like Scarlett Johansson. play it now. That's not a joke. That's not a meme. It's just my honest opinion. To the point that the first time I had seen Scarlett Johansson, I remember thinking, where have I seen her before? And then, like, I'm pretty sure after playing Super C the next time, I'm like, oh, shit, yeah, that's that chick.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Scarlett Johansson.
I can see that now. Wow.
I think it's, I think you would have to be trying hard not to see it. That's how obvious I think it is. And, it's an interesting, coincidence because I think when Super C came out, Scarlett Johansson was probably
-6.
like 9. I don't know. I don't know how old she is. But, yeah, if you're not familiar, I would say play it or at least Google it and let me know if I'm stupid or not. If you guys and gals would like to join our Discord and just shout out and tell me whether or not I'm way off base there.
Yeah.
But I think more people are going to agree with me than disagree.
Okay, so Super C, according to my Mind Palace, is 1990. I'm going to look up Scarlett Johansson. I want to see how...
Did it really come out that soon after the original?
I have no idea, man.
Wow.
Just saying. I was also known as Super C, Super Contra, The Alien Strikes Back is the full name, apparently.
The Alien Strike? I didn't know that. Now, what was the deal? Do you know the history with the name Contra versus Probotector?
Well, I know that they changed a lot of the stuff for Europe for violence issues because it was a big thing about not shooting humans with guns kind of deal. So they had like a censorship thing. And so that was it. And I think it was another thing was something to do with like the Iran-Contra conflict, which I don't even know what that is. But I remember hearing about it in history class and my ears perked up when I heard Contra and realized that we're not talking about the video game. So that was a little bit of a letdown.
I think you're right. I don't really know what that event is either, the Iranian Contra, whatever, which I feel bad for being an uninformed person. But I don't know. I think Contra... I understand the game was originally called Probotector. I don't know why, but I think Contra is a much cooler word anyways.
Yeah. It's very, very action-y,
Well, and, forbidden. And, I don't know. It's just got this sense of mystique to it. But maybe we could change it from the Iranian Contra, whatever, to the Iranian Probotector thing. And then we can just all accept it's Contra.
That would be kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's cool when video games influence non-video game things in life. That's one thing I always like. It's cool. It's one thing I like seeing just memes of like video games. Like if I'm watching a TV show and all of a sudden someone quotes World of Warcraft memes and goes like Leroy, I'm like yes, and I will stop. And I was like, this is like a 15-year-old meme. I don't care. This is amazing, and I just lose it. So all these little references to video games outside of, and it's not when it's not like just like, hey, we're trying to be hip and be catch the attention of the younger cool kids, and it's just like, I want to play some Nintendo Entertainment Center. So it's like you don't even say it right. Come on,
right? Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that reminds me of something I heard. Is this a Star Wars?
Yeah. I say that one on purpose.
Anyway. Yeah. I don't think I'd ever heard it until recently, and it stuck with me the last couple days. But yeah, go see a Star Wars, kids.
Yeah, go see a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, but of course I'm late to the game with all the memes. And when you were saying that, like, I think it's funny when video games impact real life. The only example I could come up with was how video games inhibited my ability to get a girlfriend for a very long time.
It wasn't the video game's fault. You know that.
Well, okay, yes, there's also a severe lack of hygiene, but I know which I prefer to think.
Yeah, well, I mean, preaching to the choir, so thanks.
Well, and it's a weird flex that nobody buys when you're out at the bar trying to pick up, somebody, and you're like, I've saved the galaxy multiple times.
Yeah, and they're like, they just look at you like, what?
And this is so stupid, and I don't think it's ever going to happen, but if I ever get another dog, if I ever end up, rescuing a pup, I'm going to name it the Vile Red Falcon.
And I hope he's like tiny, like super cute, like
like a Pomeranian or something.
Oh yeah, like no, that would deserve it because those guys are savage. I'm thinking like something that you'd expect to see on like a Saturday morning cartoon or like a Disney movie where it's just like this adorable thing with giant eyes and ears or something, like a beagle. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's the perfect name for a beagle.
This is my dog, the Vile Red Falcon.
Yeah.
Well, what do you call him? I call him the Vile Red Falcon.
Yeah.
There's no real abbreviation for that. That's fun.
VRF just doesn't cut it.
Sounds like a STD.
Yeah. STI.
Anyway, so
VD.
oh,
What? Oh.
all right. So that's 2 playthroughs. Granted, I died a lot on the second one.
That's pretty good. Seems we're like, what, 20 minutes in. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about it because it's fun. I know you have a deep place in your heart for this, not your stomach, because that's my organ of choice.
Oh, interesting.
Jake's is probably not his ears because then, actually, yeah, I think Jake's organs of choice would be his ears because they're sensitive. Because I can't make my beatboxing noises without him saying, "Oh, fuck off" with the mouth sounds. and then werewolf is just this, like, my body is a temple. Everything is amazing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but he's got a pretty great body.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
He's that competitive bodybuilder, so.
I was wanting to say this earlier because I've spent a lot of the day thinking about the episode. And I'm sorry I'm having such a hard time staying on topic, but there's so many things from my childhood just connected to Contra. So there are, for me, like a lot of offshoots. We can start talking about Contra, and I end up talking about 20 different things, so I apologize. But you know how people talk about Monopoly being like the relationship ender with family members?
Right.
Or like racing games and stuff like that. Like never play a racing game with somebody you're dating.
Yeah.
Anyway, Contra 2-player was the original, like, let's test our relationship sort of thing. And it goes all the way back to my brother. Because growing up, my brother and I, we had so many interests and stuff like that. And we were pretty close in age. He's just about 2 years older than me. And we used to fight nonstop whenever we would try to play 2-player Contra. I think if you were to go back and watch the home videos, it was probably my fault because, as a little kid, I sucked at video games. But we got together a couple of years ago at this little cabin for Christmas, and I had brought my NES, and we hooked it up, and we started playing, and we still sucked together at it, but we were able to, like, move past it because I don't think we ever beat it a single time as kids. And I think we both thought, maybe if we can just not kill each other and beat the game, we'll feel like we've grown as individuals. And it turns out, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Nice.
So yeah, but this is the first "what the fuck were you thinking" game from my childhood, and yeah. And ultimately, where this story ends up was my very first date with my wife. We went to this restaurant, whatever, and we started talking about video games, and she was talking about Contra, and we ended up going back to my place and playing Contra till like 3 a.m, which is not exactly how I imagined the night to go, but it was still pretty cool. So, anyway, find yourself a girl who can Contra. That's all I'm saying, or a guy.
You just made every video game nerd's like fantasy come true right there, saying this actually happened.
I know. Put it away, boys. But yeah, that was a fun night. That and Mario 3. We stayed up played Mario 3. Yeah. But anyways, that was the thing. Because the whole time we're playing, of course, I let her be blue. Not that it matters, because there's no real character stats. But she, well, I'm going to refrain from what her video game style was like, because
Style, skill level, non-existent.
Yeah, but it was definitely one of those things where I remember biting my tongue and saying, "Be cool, man, be cool."
Yeah, just fucking duck. Don't you dare steal the spread shot from me.
No, in fact, I don't know if people still feel like chivalry is dead. I don't open doors for anybody, but if you're bad enough at Contra, I will gladly take the machine gun so that you can have the spread. Tell me I'm not a decent human being.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, that's probably the nerdiest story that I have.
That works.
Yeah.
One time, girl said she wanted to play video games, and then she wanted to have sex, and I was like, "No, I thought we were here for video games." And then I kicked her out of my house. No. That's a shitty attempt at the meme, but either way.
No, I'm sitting here trying to think of, like, I wonder if the Konami code would have any sort of, there's probably a good meme there.
Yeah, there is. Especially if somebody's wearing like a shirt with a controller on it. Mash B.
There are, like, to talk about I guess it's a Konami code shirt. It's not a Contra shirt. But there are shirts out there that have the code posted on it. Yeah. And, nobody labels it as the Konami code. People just know what it is.
Right.
But every time I see it, I'm like, oh, yeah, Contra. And every time I find out that there's a game that has the Konami code, for example, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the original one by Ultra, sorry.
Alta.
Yeah. That has the Konami code. And it blows my mind every time.
I keep
that
on hearing
other people have the Konami code.
I keep on hearing you play in the game, and I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? And then I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, he's literally playing it right now, so.
I can stop. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just like, this is great, because I'm just like in the zone right now, and I'm like, okay. Next thing you know, it's like, yeah, he's on round 3. Okay, shut up. I still can't play.
Oh, I'm certain I can beat it this third time if you got a few more minutes in you. That sounded oddly sexual, yeah.
It's okay. That's what we do here. I'm doing it to make Dave proud, all right?
Dave?
Good old Tadpog.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I love the name of our podcast, but theirs is so much easier to say.
No, press B to cancel. It rolls off the tongue.
All right, so I'm just trying to think if there's anything I wanted to touch on besides the fact that, I need to beat this legit once in my life.
Yeah, I honestly, I think to summarize the game, to kind of wrap it all up, it is greater than the sum of its parts. Like, it's one of those games where it is simplistic. The graphics are, whatever they should be for, 1989 NES shmup. Mm-hmm. But it's better than what its description is.
Yeah.
And I think most people who play Contra would agree with me. I'm sure there are detractors and haters out there of the game, but I think they're rare enough that if you were to put a bunch of people in a room, whoever hates Contra would probably not speak up about hating Contra. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to keep quiet here. I know what I'm up against.
Yeah, we are Legion, and we watch Mad About You. So
yeah, exactly. Wait, isn't that Legion? Isn't that Paul Bettany? I can't remember.
Oh, shit, yeah. Jarvis. Also, real quick, because I know we like to kind of give shout-outs to certain people with streams. I want to show some love to Ash Said Hi, who was recently streaming Contra. I think it was yesterday, but of course, by the time this airs, it will have been a couple weeks ago. And she ended up beating it, and what a champion she is.
Oh, yeah. Ash is awesome.
It's just one of the things I love so much about Twitch and these streaming platforms is, I played this game for 35 years, but this is, a newer experience to somebody else. And the fact that people are still experiencing or finding this game at all is absurd to me, but I absolutely love it and adore it. So big love to Ash.
Yeah, good job on beating it and showing me up on stream. So,
dude, she can show us all up. Don't worry about that.
This is true. Also, I'm going to do this in honor of her. Hot dog. All right?
Hot dog.
Hot dog. So, yeah. So I think, this is a good place to cut it for now. GP, thanks for hanging out with me. And we can do the normal outro. But I think everybody knows where to find us both. And if they don't, check us out at Press B to Cancel to find more.
Oh, actually, that reminds me of something else I wanted to say. I'm sorry. I know we're cutting it off.
Let's do it.
But will you permit me just one more minute to say something?
You are permitted, sir.
I wanted to point out that
You're about
I
beat the game.
Really like to... Okay, there. Okay, beat it. 3.
Excellent. Okay, now...
I'm sorry. I know that was a horrible stall, but we got it.
No, that counts. As soon as I caught it, I was like, yes, I approve of this.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for letting me do this episode with you, because I do love this game.
This is true. All right. Maybe you'll have to host one on the Alien Wars, and I can school you on that one that I can't speedrun, but still.
Oh, I've never beat it.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
I can run that over your head now.
Yes.
All right, thanks everybody, and until next time, press B to cancel.
I can't do it, and I'm pissed off about it.
That's okay. Jake's very thankful. Special thanks for music. Go to Arthur the Last Ancient on Spotify or The Last Ancient on Bandcamp. For more episodes, please visit our website at pressbtocancel.com. As well, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or anywhere else you'd like to listen to your favorite shows. As always, thank you. This has been
Press B to cancel.